New at 6, allegations of toxic behavior, racism, and election inference have thrown Norfolk's Electoral Board into disarray.
A trial date has now been set in circuit court to consider the removal of the board's vice chair. Norfolk's registrar is warning the vice chair's behavior threatens election integrity.
And now we're begging. We are begging you on behalf of our board.
The emotional plea to the State Board of Elections coming from the chairwoman of Norfolk's Electoral Board, Atoy Carrington, begging for the removal of Vice Chair Marianne McKay from the board.
We need help. We need help from y'all.
Emails obtained by 13 News Now showcase a contentious relationship between McKay and board members, along with the registrar, Stephanie Isles. In January, Isles wrote to the state board, "Without taking immediate action, I fear our gubernatorial and future elections are in jeopardy."
The best way I can describe how things are in Norfolk is toxic, and that's putting it mildly.
McKay faces accusations in 6 key areas, including election interference in both last year's primary election and the general election in November. Isles' lengthy email states McKay manipulates the Virginia Code to her convenience, took it upon herself to change our protocols and procedures on Election Day, and challenged 5,000 provisional ballots cast on Election Day, despite our procedures of researching all information for each provisional ballot cast to ensure the voter is eligible.
Instructing chiefs and assistant chiefs to separately fill out statements of results that was never discussed with the Office of Elections.
Isles also says McKay has offended several members of our support staff with comments about gay people and racial insults.
There are accusations of impropriety when it comes to race. There are also accusations when it comes to a person's sexuality. She's offended a lot of my people.
Here is McKay defending herself before the state board, explaining why she requested to withdraw her certification of the November election based on what she says she observed at the Chesterfield precinct, which drew a large number of students from Norfolk State.
But we had reports that the students, it was mostly students from the college, weren't having their IDs checked. And also that election officers were told the students not to seal the provisional ballot envelopes. And I did at that time institute a change of setting it up where the officers did start checking the IDs and following procedures.
An authorized poll watcher, Catherine Nesmith, testified on McKay's behalf.
Consistent checking of proper IDs did not appear to be followed by officers' elections. The precinct quickly became chaotic.
And so did Norfolk resident Paula Markham.
Her ideas and suggestions always seemed reasonable to me and were always within, even some mandated by Virginia Code.
But in an email, even the chair of Norfolk's Republican Party is asking McKay to resign, writing, "If you do not voluntarily step down, I will have to consider asking a judge to remove you."
Now, on the racial allegations, McKay wrote that in working with African-American colleagues before, she has never had a civil rights complaint. She tells me she would love to share her thoughts on truth and transparency, but cannot with the pending court case. In this story online, we have her response to all of the allegations against her and the registrar's email complaint. You can also watch the full State Board of Elections hearing on our streaming app, 13 News Now Plus.